FM studios here in Kokomlemle. Our digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across the country, including Radio Max in Takrady, Kekeli Radio in Ho. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, Digibank, Let's Go, and Telesol 4G. Just a touch. In this edition, suspected rebels arrested by the Ghana Armed Forces provide details of their engagement of a group seeking to have the Volta region separated from Ghana.
Persons involved in it will be hunted down and dealt with in accordance with our laws.
We've got details as a security analyst warns government to brace up for more of such groupings. Police rescue two 15-year-old girls reported missing a week ago and arrest 6 men accused of having sex with them in turns.
Both suspects had sexual intercourse with the victims and later left them to their fate.
And construction works on the National Cathedral can continue. Supreme Court rules as it refutes application for injunction. We'll bring you details from the court. In sports,
the Secretary General of the Ghana Athletics Association, Bob Hussein, is facing the wrath of the National Sports Authority for leading the electoral process of the GAA last year. Details later in sports.
And as part of our Arrival Live campaign today, we hear the chilling account of a retired fire officer who survived a deadly road accident 27 years ago and is still living with the painful scars of the crash.
Imagine just picking a bag that you are going at cab only to be lifted by ambulance or haze from Sohom Government Hospital for specialist attention in Kolebu.
Please stay for details here on the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu. And they were kept in a thick forest to undergo military training in preparation for a campaign to sever the Volta region from Ghana. But a special operation by the 66th Artillery Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces rounded up 20 of the recruits at a remote location, 10 kilometers north of Volta region town of Joje, along Ghana's border with Togo. During another visit, the soldiers arrested one more person associated with the secessionist group. A member of the Joy News security desk who was with the soldiers when the suspects were flown to Accra, First Smith, joins me in the studio. But first, here's a report on what transpired.
A phone call is all it took for Justina Abochi to leave her job as a teacher, pay 800 cedis, and join a recruitment scheme she claims she believed was for farming.
No, they told you that?
You're coming to do farm work for the white.
Farm work?
Yes.
For white people? Okay, and when you got here, they said it's a military training?
Yes.
She is the only female recruit among a host of men. Here is a thick forest, utensils scattered, makeshift shelter, and smoke billows from what looks like a source of fire to cook and keep warm, typical of insurgent group hideouts. One of the recruits, Michael, explains their daily itinerary.
Yeah, we wake up in the morning, we go jogging, we do stomach exercise. They give us some logs to carry, and after that we come for a break to come and eat. We go and fetch water, then we bath. They give us time to work on it, to do our physical training.
Well, that routine was interrupted yesterday when military personnel from the 66th Artillery Regiment in Ho stormed their hideout in this forest at dawn. The military personnel trekked over an hour to search and find them at this destination. Major Dalali Dean is the second in command.
You see how thick the vegetation is. This one, it's a false natural cover. When you are here, until somebody enters, the person will not know that there are people here. I can't tell whether they are skilled or not, but this is obviously people who know what they are about.
3 of them managed to escape, and 1 more was arrested, making the total of arrested persons 21. Commanding officer of the 66th Artillery Regiment.
We are told they were estimated to be between 20 and 25. Yes, we can say about 3 or 4 are on the run, but the operation is not yet over.
The military command believes these people, whom they describe as troops, are being trained by the Homeland Study Group Foundation, a group which declared independence from Ghana in November 2019. Its leader, 85-year-old Charles Komi Kujoji, was arrested along with about 18 others. They were all discharged after charges against them were dropped. The leader, however, re-announced cessation in December and has since been on the run, posting YouTube videos occasionally.
So that's a report on what transpired. Fred Smith, the Joy News editor, was embedded with the soldiers. Said that team that earlier arrested these people, they've described them as rebels as well. But Fred joins me in studio. Quite a busy month for you, Fred. Now, how did they arrest this person? Tell us about it.
Well, this man was found in the forest somewhere. As the soldiers were trying to trace this location, they found him, and they thought that this man will be able to help in tracking the location where the training was taking place. And so, throughout our journey, he was leading us, showing us where to pass and all that. And when we got there, the officers suspected he may be one of them, and so they presented him to those who had already been arrested and asked whether they knew him, and they said yes, this is one of us, and they picked him up. In addition, that brought the number to 21. One of them, the woman.
Confirm to me if you guys speak English.
Yes, please.
Okay, what's your name?
Francis Sachi.
Why are you here?
One of my friends called me that there is a Ghana Army training is ongoing and is protocol, so the person said we should come, and that's why I'm here.
How did you start your training here?
We march and we push up and we carry rocks.
How long have you been doing this?
Let me see, 1 week now.
About 1 week?
Yes, please.
And what did your instructors or the trainers tell you you were doing this for?
When we came, they told us that it's not Ghana Army, but rather Western Togoland Army, and we tell them that is not the information that we got before coming here. So the person who connected us to the protocol, we asked him, and he said that no, they will train us, then they will recruit us under Ghana Army.
And did you pay money to be part of this?
Yes, please.
How much?
800 Ghana.
Okay. Before here, what were you doing?
I'm a mason.
You are a mason?
Yes, please.
So that's one of the recruits that you got to interact with.
He's the last person who was arrested.
Oh, okay. Well, but you also spoke with the MC for K2 North, Anthony Avogbedo. What did he say?
Yeah, he is very shocked that anybody would set up a camp that far from anywhere from town, because it's very close to the border with Togo, and the mobile networks that work in that area are really those of Togo and not Ghana.
My name is Honorable Anthony Afogbedo, the K2 Municipal Executive.
Okay, what do you make of what has been discovered in your area?
Yeah, I was really surprised to see these young men coming to hide themselves here with the pretense that they are coming to be trained to join the military. This is not something that one can imagine, because walking from the town up to this deep inside this forest, I think is something that beats my imagination, that somebody will just come and be camped here and be doing this sort of thing in the name of being recruited into the Ghana Armed Forces.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's the MC for K2 North, Anthony Avogbedo. But Fred, interesting, you were on the ground. Tell us the nature of what you saw and what exactly you were briefed on.
Well, we're told that these people were carrying logs, doing push-ups, and also marching. Those are the things you do for military training. And we actually saw the logs, real heavy logs, lying in the training ground there. And those were the ones they were carrying. And then especially the lady who I spoke to explained that they were doing push-ups on daily basis.
Interesting. That's Fred Smith, Joy News editor. He was embedded with a team that arrested or made the arrest of these recruits, and he's been giving us what he saw. But what do the people in the region make of the activities of this group and the idea to have the Volta region separated from the rest of Ghana? Our correspondent Fred Kwame Asare has been speaking to them. He joins us on the line with details. Fred, what are the dominant thoughts in the region as we speak?
Well, like you rightly said, I've been speaking to people in the region, in the regional capital, as you say, this morning. Some of them told me that there's no need for the Volta region to be separated from Ghana, because as it stands now, they are enjoying their peace. They are able to go about their activity, their economic activities well. So there's no need for the Volta region to be separated from Ghana. Some also mentioned that, well, if only the independence or the separation of the Volta region will bring something good to that side of the country, then fine, they should go by it. But then they should ensure that whoever is leading this cause would ensure that they map out strategies that bring development and then improved livelihood to residents in the area. Some people I also spoke to have no knowledge about the operations of this particular group, Western Togoland. So they told me that, well, they've been hearing of it, but they are neither in nor out. They are just in between. Whatever comes their way, they would accept it. But then they only hope for life so that they can go about the normal duties, and then also ensure that they can go about their normal duties and then do their livelihood. So basically, I've been speaking to people on the streets of Ho, and that is what they've been telling me.
That's our Volta Regional Correspondent, Fred Kwame Asari. By Information Minister Kojo Ponkrumah says anyone involved with the group will be arrested and prosecuted.
The managers of our national security apparatus have been very clear that this sort of behavior, attempts at secession, attempts at training paramilitary groups, is in contravention of the laws of our country, and any persons involved in it will be hunted down and dealt with in accordance with our laws. This, therefore, cannot be the end of it. These activities were observed, will continue to be in place so that the persons behind this exercise are apprehended and are dealt with in accordance with the laws of the Republic.
That's Information Minister Kojo Ponkrumah. We're still following that incident closely, and as and when we get more information, we'll definitely bring it to you. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, the Ghana Police Service says it's been able to rescue 2 girls reported missing a week ago. They were found in the custody of 6 men in the central region town of Gumwanyanyano. The men allegedly took turns to sexually abuse the girls, both aged 15. According to ASP Efiatinge, 4 out of the 6 men with ages between 25 and 30 years are being put before court.
The brief facts are that a report was made to the Odoko police on the 8th of February by the parents of 2 missing girls who left for school and never returned. While the police was still investigating the whereabouts of these girls in earnest, it was established that on the 7th February 2020 at about 6:50 a.m., both victims left their respective homes for school at Malam. While school was in session, victims left school unceremoniously around 11 a.m. to meet one set and senior, now at large, at Makati Hill. Both suspects had sexual intercourse with the victims and later left them to their fate. Later that day, a senior brother to one of the victims spotted them in a desperate situation on his way back home at Malam Junction and questioned them as to why they were loitering about during school hours.
So the missing girls were reported to have left home on February 7, 2020 until one of them called home to ask for money and clothes. DSP Efiatinge tells us more about this operation.
The only lack was that these suspects were only interested in sexually exploiting them. Otherwise, it would have been very easy for them to use them for any other purpose, taking into consideration the circumstance under which they were found. Now, what is the police saying? The police would like to remind parents of our parental responsibility, of constant interaction with our wards, needed discipline, supervision, and taking keen interest in issues that concern our own children. Let's not only invest our time in our work, but also devote our time in the upbringing of our children. Sometimes, or most times, what we see is that children are left to do whatever.
You heard the Accra Region Police PRO, DSP Tenge. Now, the Supreme Court has, in a unanimous decision, refused an application seeking to halt ongoing construction works on the National Cathedral. The 7-member panel, presided over by Chief Justice Kwesi Ening, ruled that appropriate remedies exist to be used by the court to provide compensation if it rules against the state in the substantive case. A businessman, Jonathan Holm, is in court alleging that government has breached portions of the Constitution in allowing state land to be used in a manner that does not serve the public interest. He wants a declaration of the action as unconstitutional, with the land returned to its original owners. Court correspondent Joseph Akable was there as the panel urged the lawyers for the businessman to pursue the substantive matter, since this is the second time he has refused an application filed by them. Joseph, so how different is this case from the earlier cathedral case that was dismissed, with the court holding that the state can support in its construction?
And Emefa, the earlier case related to whether it was even legal for the state to be concerned about a religious body or provide such assistance to a religious body to have a place of worship. This particular matter has to do with the state land and what it's being used for. Mr. Holm is of the opinion that when the land was acquired by the government of Ghana many years ago, they informed the family that they were using the land for public interest purposes. And so if government has no intention of using it for to serve public interest, which in their opinion the construction of the cathedral does not serve, the land should be returned to the original owners. And so that is by way of the difference. But earlier, they had filed an application asking that the government should be found in contempt of the court in that it's going on with the construction, despite the fact that there's a pending suit against it. And that was dismissed by the court. So this is the second application they are making, asking that the court should put on hold the construction of the National Cathedral.
But what was the response from the AG's office to all this?
Chief State Attorney Dorothy Fianza, who argued this particular matter, told the court that as far as it stands, the land in question does not belong to Mr. Holm, who has filed this particular case. In fact, he says the owners, the state, acquired the land from many years back, are even not parties to this particular matter. She says in the extreme instance that the court agrees that indeed the purpose for which is being used currently does not serve public interest. All the state would have to do will be to compensate the family either by payment of money or to provide land. And so they risk losing nothing. On the other hand, he says if the state is prevented from carrying out the construction, what it will mean is that it has to bear the cost in terms of the contract that's signed with persons who are supposed to provide various works on the land. They will be prevented from working, and all this comes at the cost of the state. With a private individual who does not own the land is not in a position to compensate the state if it ends up ruling that the case that assistance in substantive form is without merit. And so the court agreed with the position advanced by the Chief State Attorney, concluding that the construction can continue, but the substantive case remains before the court.
So was the businessman Jonathan Holm himself in court, and what has his representatives been saying about this?
He was present in court. In fact, he says they intend to take urgent steps to file the issues that they believe are urgent to this particular matter, hoping that the AG's office will also respond in time with the understanding from the court that once that is done, appropriate steps will be taken for a date to be fixed for judgment as to whether the state's use of the land as it stands is unconstitutional or not.
Court correspondent there, Joseph Akable. Now, she survived a deadly crash on the Accra-Suhum Highway on November 14, 1993. The spot of the accident has been nicknamed Suhum 22 because 22 people were killed. It was an accident involving a 33-seater passenger bus and a cargo truck, reported to have been carrying out a dangerous overtaking. As part of our Arrive Alive campaign today, Komladum has been speaking to 57-year-old Kafui Ekuya Danswa Akatu, who was now taken to offering education on fire safety to residents and schools around the Adenta Snit flats here in Accra.
Road traffic accidents is a terrible thing. Imagine just picking a bag that you are going at camp only to be lifted by ambulance or hails from Suhum Government Hospital for specialist attention in Kolebu.
As she recounts the traumatic experience of November 14, 1993, tears fill the eyes of a retired fire officer who says she is 57 years but has been asked to proceed on retirement. It was a crash that left her permanently scarred.
That accident was tagged as Suhum 22 because it is said 22 deaths were recorded, and it was a 33-seater bus that collided with articulator from Accra. The articulator was overtaken and met ours on head-on. I am alive, and I know it's a grace that God has made me survive for a purpose.
Kafui Danswa Akatu's life will change, and for the rest of her active working life, In the fire service, she was left redundant, unable to continue her physical education training.
I've been in Kolembo for 1 year. This arm, I had a closed fracture. It was just in POP beside me, but the leg was so bad that the tibia fibula was compound fracture. My thigh bone. Imagine a physical education, this leg like this. Now I can't run, I can't squat, I can't jog.
It's been a tough one for her, but she's happy she's alive. Alive to impact society the best way she can.
I've been declared as 55% physically challenged and 5% disfigured. And I resumed work from 1995, May thereabout, on light duties. And I've been on light duties till I went on retirement. I was made to be showing up at Medina Fire Station for people not to say that I'm at home collecting salary. And that's my schedule. But I said, no, that's not me. There's something I have to do, which is fire safety education.
She was a fluent spokesperson for the fire service then, she tells me. Today, it's all a past glory.
Actually, I had a cut on my head, and the medical report tells that I've suffered brain contusion, and I've been in coma.
But she's committing to joining a campaign for safer road transport to save many more lives.
I guess that they should go within the road limits or the speed that they are supposed to go when they are driving through town. They should observe the rules and not overtake. In curves, on the highways where they stop by the roadside, there should be a bypass.
It's been almost 30 years after the accident, but Kafui is lucky to have survived it. She is thankful that she at least has a voice left. One to say to another driver to be careful on the road, with the expectation that someone would listen.
We should always pray that God should preserve our going out and coming in. Anything at all can happen. You can be walking and the car will run into you and you lose your life. In fact, I've suffered.
She wants you to hashtag arrive alive.
That's Kafui Ekuya Danswa Akatu's story. She was a former fire officer. Here's why you need to arrive alive.
Tell me, will it hurt when your bumper crumbles, your headlights shatter, and your engine block is driven backwards, crushing every single bone in your legs? Will it hurt when your steering wheel squashes your chest and your lungs are punctured by the sharp ends of your own broken ribs? Will it hurt when your head snaps forward and smashes into the dashboard, forcing several tiny shards of fractured skull into your brain? When your victims' lives are shattered irreparably, when your family is bereaved tragically, tell me, will it hurt? Road accidents kill thousands of Ghanaians each year, and all these deaths are avoidable. When we act irresponsibly on our roads, we don't just jeopardize our own lives, but those around us and those at home waiting for us. So ask yourself, will you make it home tonight? Because if you don't, trust me, it will hurt. Be a safe driver. Be a responsible passenger. Look out for yourselves and each other. Arrive alive. Arrive Alive is a Joy Road Safety campaign.
You may want to join the campaign also with the hashtag Arrive Alive. When we return from the quick break, minority MPs want Parliament to hold President Akufo-Addo accountable over the missing excavators and other seized equipment. Stay with us after the break.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation over the past 45 years. We've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
It's all the midday news. Time now for sports. Hans Mensando has the very latest.
And the Secretary General of the Ghana Athletics Association, Baal Hussein, is facing the wrath of the National Sports Authority for leading the elections process of the GAA last year. The NSA has set up a 3-man inquest team led by Saka Akwe to get Baal to explain why he should not be sacked as staff of the sports umbrella body of the country. Joining me in the studio is my colleague Muftau Nabila Abdullah with more on this particular development. Muftau, this hearing is happening today, but take us back to 2019 when the Ghana Athletics Association elections took place.
In August 2019, the Ghana Athletics Association held their elections in Tamale, and prior to that, they had been engulfed in a court impasse with their former chairman, Mr. George Lutrot. He took them to court on December 20, 2018, indicating that the GA could not organize elections because the leadership then, their mandate had expired and they couldn't have organized elections. So he wanted the Criminal Court 4 of Accra High Court to indicate that and also set up interim management committee for athletics in the country. But Bawa Fuseni, who was the Secretary General and still the Secretary General of the Ghana Athletics Association, wrote to the IAAF indicating that the former chairman was interfering with their activities. So the National Sports Authority Director General, Professor Peter Chumesi, set up a 3-man committee to resolve the impasse. But unfortunately, they were not able to get it resolved. They wrote to Bawa Fuseni to leave the office because he was a key person, Mr. George Luttrell and his team, accused of bringing them to the point where they had to go to court. And they also appointed one man, Rafiq Atta, to replace Bawa Fuseni as the Secretary General of the Ghana Athletics Association. So the GA said that it was against their constitution and that Bawa Fuseni was going to remain the Secretary General of the association.
And Bawa led the elections of the GA.
He led the elections.
What could be the implication if, in terms of the outcome of this particular hearing?
What it clearly means is that Bawa Fuseni could lose his position as the sports development officer for the National Sports Authority because he is in charge of that. But he can lose that and still remain the Secretary General of the Ghana Athletics Association because the IAAF is the body that ensures that their members could have their Secretary Generals and not the National Sports Authority.
Thank you very much, Muftau Abdullah Nabila. Emefa.
Thank you very much, Hans and Muftau. Now, minority MPs wants Parliament to hold President Akufo-Addo accountable over the missing excavators and other seized equipment. In a statement on the floor, Tamale North MP Al-Hassan S. Suhene said the House should take interest in how money it approved for the fight against illegal mining is being used.
Investment in the course of an over 2 years ban on all the activities. This ban was ostensibly put in place to enable government to streamline the sector to ensure sustainable development. The Speaker, some of these investors in small-scale mining who adhered to the ban but couldn't withstand the financial stress it brought forth, according to Mr. Francis Poku, Communications Director of the Small Scale Miners Association, have unfortunately lost their lives. What is disappointing, Mr. Speaker, is that according to an officer for International Conservation Group, AROCHA, Daniel Kwamina, the ban only pushed more small-scale miners to work within the protected Atua forest.
Now, that's what transpired in Parliament just a while ago. Correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo joins us on the line. So, Joseph, there's some confusion about the number of excavators that's been actually seized. What really is the concern?
Alima Mahama, the local government minister, who is a member of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, indicated that there were 34 of them that had actually been seized at the Tema port, and then what triggered the inquiry into what had happened was because not all the 34 had been accounted for. There was a sharp rebuttal from the minority leader, Harun Idrisu, who said that as far as they have heard, more than 300 excavators are missing, and not the 34 that Haji Alima Mahama is actually mentioning. But a while ago, I caught up with the local government minister outside Parliament, and she explains that when she spoke of the 34 figure, she only meant that's what triggered the broader investigation into the number of missing excavators, and that she actually didn't mean those were the only missing excavators in question, and that some had been discovered at other sites, so the number could be more than the 34.
Joseph Opoku Gakpo from Parliament. Of course, that's not the end of this issue. We'll get more in our subsequent bulletins. It's time to hear our joy stories. I'm waiting for yours as well. It's the 10 of Joe Metal. And that's Joe Metal's joy story. What's yours? Keep them coming. But quickly before we go, Comlado joins me in studio with what people are talking about on social media.
Of course, hashtag Arrive Alive. People are talking about it. A lot more people are joining this campaign. And this one by Dr. Aigbebola Bed, he writes, he says, I believe there should be a law so all these minivans at the lorry station get seatbelts for passengers. I once asked a driver in a car from Ho to Medina and he told me I was too knowing. Hashtag Arrive Alive. I'm happy this campaign is on.
And that's it for the midday news. Definitely you ought to arrive alive. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. Thanks so much for your company. It's been 25 years of impactful journalism. Dr. Mensa Otabil is up next with Living Word.